All right, everybody, we're in Austin, Texas. We had great visions of doing this outside in the beautiful Texas sunshine, but it's pouring rain. And this is Thomas Tetzlaff from Volkswagen Canada. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so we've got a video blog, Thomas, talking about the Golf. Of all of the cars that I talk about on my video blog, I get more questions about the Golf than anything else. And we're driving in the new Golf wagon. So I asked people to send in their questions, and here's the first one. Do you know Volkswagen will bring the Seat brand to Canada?
Well, that's an excellent question, Zach. And no. That one was pretty easy, and let me expand on that a little bit. Seat, as you know, is underneath the Volkswagen Group umbrella. It's another brand that we have within the 12 that are controlled by Volkswagen Group, and the cars are based on a lot of Volkswagen technology, as Seat has been within the family for a while. However, we really don't see an opportunity to bring their cars to North America simply because a lot of them are in the same class as the Volkswagens upon which they're based. So where you have a Golf, you have the Seat version. Where you have a Golf wagon, you have the Seat version of the same car.
Duplication.
It's exactly that. It's badge engineering cars, and in the North American market, we don't see an opportunity right now at this point. We could change our plans, and 5-10 years from now, we may have an opportunity to bring Seat here, but right now, the answer is a flat no.
Okay. All right, Thomas, I had quite a few questions about BlueMotion technology in North America. I want to know why VW does not bring BlueMotion technology to North America. Now, first of all, explain what BlueMotion technology is, and is it potentially going to come here?
Well, the answer to that's very easy. It's not only going to come here, it is here. BlueMotion technology is Volkswagen utilizing their engineering expertise to wring the most fuel economy out of their cars. And we've been doing that here for as long as I can remember.
But I think people are specifically looking for that turbocharged and supercharged engine that you can get in cars in Europe that we can't get here.
Absolutely, and I think they'll be pleased to hear that very shortly Volkswagen is going to be an all turbocharged lineup in Canada, and by that I mean all of our engines have been intelligently downsized to take advantage of turbocharging to give the maximum power with the minimum fuel use. In Europe, we have two different brandings, BlueMotion technology and BlueMotion. BlueMotion technology is the stuff that goes into the car to make it lighter, to make it more fuel efficient, to make the engines perform better.
So just to indirect, so Mazda uses Skyactiv.
Exactly.
You use BlueMotion.
Exactly. And we've been doing it in Canada and will continue to do so in the future, only we don't call it BlueMotion technology.
Right. But that specific engine, that supercharged, turbocharged engine, there's no plans for that in any model just yet.
Not the supercharged, turbocharged engine, but we've got a little surprise coming for next year that I think is going to please a lot of your viewers. We've got some smaller turbocharged engines that we think are going to fit very well into the Canadian lineup.
So if you tell me that there could be a new smaller turbocharged engine, and you're telling me that you're going all turbocharged, so there's one engine specifically, that's the old 2-liter in the Jetta that's been around since Moses was a boy, that may be replaced?
It may be. It's something we're giving very serious consideration to right now. It's our value leader in the Jetta lineup right now, but our engineers have given us some very unique options, and we're really close to a tipping point right now as to whether or not we're going to make a decision of dropping a new engine into that car.
All right, Thomas, the second most asked question in this video blog is about all-wheel drive. People want to get all-wheel drive in the Golf, they want to get all-wheel drive in the Jetta, they certainly want to get all-wheel drive in this SportWagon without having to buy, what's the one that they're selling in Europe called?
We've just launched the All-Track.
All-Track. So is that going to happen?
It absolutely is going to happen. We are now producing the Golf SportWagon at our facility in Puebla, Mexico. And we've been doing that for a number of years now. And what's held us back is the inability to build all-wheel drive cars out of that factory. That's going to change. We have commitment from our engineering team that all-wheel drive will be a real opportunity next year. That's 2016. So what you're going to see for the 2017 model year.
So it's produced in 2016.
Produced in 2016 for the 2017 model year, you'll start seeing all-wheel drive in this Golf SportWagon.
And what about just Golf generally instead of having to get the Golf R?
Well, I'll tell you, I'd sure like to see it. And
So you're not going to tell me today, but
I'm not going to tell you today.
So basically, if it's available in the factory,
the same factory that builds the Golf, on the same line, it stands to reason that we might have availability in the Golf in a not too distant future.
so you can't say, but I can do math.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Okay, somebody wants to know, are they going to be able to get TDI 4Motion with a 6-speed manual transmission in the Golf hatch or the wagon? So basically what they want to know is, so today with this car that you're launching, you can get the TDI with the 6-speed manual. Are you going to be able to add all-wheel drive to that mix, do you think? Do you know? If
Zach,
it's
is
gonna
that somebody or is that somebody you?
No, it's not me. So is that an option to keep it as a manual?
That is something that we're working on right now. As you know, we've discussed, all-wheel drive will come to the Golf SportWagon lineup next year. As to what engines and transmissions, that's still stuff we're working on right now. We're going to see, obviously, what our customers are asking for, and we'll try to give them exactly what that is. We may have to phase engines in, meaning start with one engine and move to other engines further down the road.
And same thing for transmissions,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. At the end of the day, we want to bring to market what our customers want to buy, and we're going to do our best to make sure we have some variety, but it might take a little bit of time. I'm not going to say right now definitively that this engine and this transmission are going to be available from day one, but I will say that we're going to do our best to make sure that there's a wide assortment for different customers.
Well, that dovetails into the next point. Golf R, I've got a huge number of people asking about the Golf R. And you waited to get that car for the 2016 model year. So it's coming, I guess, this September or late August for the Canadians. Available right out of the gate with 6-speed manual and with the DSG, right?
That is correct.
And so in the US, they have a few.
In the
DSG.
US, what they've done is they've jumped the gun a little bit on Golf R. They've introduced it as a late entry to the 2015 model year. They have availability only of DSG equipped cars, and they'll be running with that model year for a few months. In Canada, we opted to hold off until 2016 model year, which, as you mentioned, will come to Canada probably mid to late August. We're hopeful. Depends on how fast the ships are traveling at that time of the year and if the Halifax port is thawed out by then. And we'll get the cars with both transmissions. That's the 6-speed manual that we saw in the previous generation Golf R, and new for this generation, the 6-speed DSG. We're pretty excited because we didn't offer that transmission last time, and we anticipate it being about a 50-50 proposition, with half the people going manual, half the people going DSG.
And there's updates too for 16, right?
There
What are
certainly
those?
are. We're going to have a little bit of a change with our infotainment screens and such. When I say upgrades, literally it's upsizing. We've got bigger screens for the infotainment system. We've got better resolution on the system. So all the little incremental changes you normally see from model year to model year will be on this brand new 2016 Golf R.
Okay, so that bigger screen that's going to come in the Golf R, is that going to spread through the Jetta Golf line? Because the screen that's in this car, it's fine, but it could be a bit bigger.
Absolutely, and that's what we're going to introduce across the line with our 2016 cars. We call it internally MIB2, so second generation of this infotainment screen, and it does sweep across the line next year in all of our cars.
2016.
That is correct.
Now, this next one, really getting to the bone here, Thomas. Volkswagen has had some quality issues in the past. I've experienced them with 2 of their products. What have you done to address the issues, and why should I buy one of Volkswagen's products?
Well, that's an excellent question, Zach. And quality is an issue for every manufacturer, and Volkswagen is no different. Especially nowadays when you try to cram in as much technology as you can. It's not just the driving experience, it's the connectivity issues, it's everything from cup holders to headlights to all-wheel drive systems, and of course you've got some pretty serious technology with the engines. Internally, we embarked on a quality campaign probably about 10 years ago, and what we've seen in the last 4 to 5 years is a real payback. And we measure this internally, obviously, with our warranty cost index, which is something that has taken a complete fall in the last few years, which is good.
The amount you spend.
Exactly. The amount we spend on cars to repair them through warranty has dropped off a cliff. Our dealers aren't too happy with that. It's making them less busy, but our customers are ecstatic. And we've seen that in our quality standards through third parties like JD Power, Consumer Reports and such. Volkswagen just keeps climbing up the ladder. We're getting better and better. And right now we're at a point where I'd say we're on par with just about anybody in the industry. It should not be a deterrent to anybody if they're looking at a Volkswagen.
Okay, Thomas, this one's a bit lengthy. A fellow, basically, I'll summarize what he's saying here. Paulo says he went to drive the GTI and he found the suspension too taut. Now that's, could be a case in a place where you have a lot of potholes and stuff. And he went to drive the 1.8, which I think is a great engine, but he didn't like the 5-speed manual transmission. He thought the gearing was just not what it was with the 6-speed you get in the GTI. The GTI had a better match with the ratios. So why are you still, we're in the Golf Wagon here, if you get that 1.8, you get the 5-speed box. Is that going to change, and why are you still only with 5 gears when some of your other cars you have 6?
Well, with the GTI, obviously, that's our sportiest offering in the Golf line. It's the sportiest offering in the whole Volkswagen line, and we want to make sure that there are reasons to select the GTI, and the 6-speed manual is first and foremost a consideration among our buyers. They equate GTI with sportiness.
Yeah, but wait. Yes, but it can be sportier because it's got a bigger engine, it's got a stiffer suspension, it's got the fancy seats, and looks better on the outside. But you can still have a 6-speed manual in your less powerful, less tautly sprung car.
Indeed. But at the end of the day, the important thing is with your gears are your ratios. And the 5th gear in a standard Golf with the 1.8T runs right around where the 6th gear does in a GTI. So ultimately, when you're on the highway cruising at whatever speed you consider to be prudent on the highway.
Let me just interject here, because he says, driving around town at 60 kilometers an hour, I have to downshift to 3rd gear. The ratios don't match the characteristics of the new engine. That's what he feels.
Well, I guess that's going to be a little bit of a matter of individual driving style and
I think
taste.
you also, and one thing I would say, not to defend Volkswagen, just experiencing cars, is that you get to know the characteristics after you drive the car for a while, right?
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, people select manual transmissions for a reason. And that reason is because they like to shift gears. If you don't want to shift gears, we've got a really nice option for you. It's called an automatic.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to push people into automatic transmissions, but if you want to give your left foot a rest and give your...
I don't think he wants that. I think he wants to do the shifting, but he just wants it to be maybe a better match. But I would disagree that the GTI I don't think is too tautly sprung. I think it's a sportier ride, but it's still quite compliant, in my opinion.
I think we've got another solution that he might want to consider, and that's something that's just reached our dealerships in February of this year, and that's the GTI Performance. We introduced a new trim level on the GTIs this year, as mentioned, and with the Performance package on the GTI comes something we call DCC, or Dynamic Chassis Control.
Right.
Essentially, it's electronically controlled shock absorbers, which let the driver select between various modes: sport, comfort, normal. I think if your reader takes a look at this, he'll find that he can adjust the shocks exactly to his taste, and it doesn't always have to be the same. If he's in a sporting mood on really nice roads, well, he can make those shocks and springs.
And that's the one that you set up for us when I had a chance to drive the Golf R in Geneva.
Exactly.
It has that adaptive suspension.
Exactly.
Now, is that standard on the Golf R?
That is standard on the Golf R and now available on the GTI.
Okay. Now, quickly on the Golf R. So with the pricing on the Golf R, and there's really only one option package, isn't there? It's like a tech package you have?
That is correct.
So what is the number on that?
The number on the Golf R is $39,995, so we're keeping it under $40,000. Not by much, but I think for that money, you're getting one heck of a car.
And that tech package is a couple grand,
Tech
right?
package is about $2,000, and it's going to get you a lot of little technical things. Obviously, that's why we named it that way. A larger infotainment screen. We go from 6.5 inch to 8 inch. You've got some differences.
You can't remember all of them.
I can't remember all of them, but there's got to be at least $2,000 worth in there.
Now, here's what I've been saying to people, and a lot of people are catching on to this. That Audi S3, which is a fantastic product, isn't available in a hatch and has the same driveline as the Golf R, and it starts $1,000 more than your fully loaded Golf R. There's a lot of value in that Golf R.
Was that a squirrel?
You can't say anything against your Audi cousins.
I'm just going to adjust the wipers. It's getting a little rainier in here. That S3 is a beautiful car, by the way.
It is a beautiful
An
car.
absolutely beautiful car.
All right, here's one about this SportWagon. What do you think is the competitor to this car? It might just be the Tiguan.
Wow, that's an excellent question. Pretty much everybody in the market has abdicated the small wagon. And obviously, buyers are buying a lot of compact sport utilities. But I think, and a lot of my friends think, this is a market that shouldn't have been left alone. And
Well, aren't you glad that you kept?
I'm really glad we're in it. It drives sporty. Look at the name. Compact sport utility. Here you take a vehicle, you reduce the sportiness, you reduce the utility, but you call it a sport utility. The Golf SportWagon really is those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that big in terms of outside footprint, but inside you've got a colossal amount of very usable space. Split fold seat backs, a ski pass through, low load in height, but it drives like a car. It's got a low center of gravity, it's lighter, it is so much more tossable on the street. It's everything you need. But for some people, I guess they need to be higher off the ground.
A lot of people like to sit higher.
Absolutely, and for them, we make a Tiguan, and I hope they'll consider that car. But for those people that like to be in a car but want a little bit more space, I think we're riding in a really nice alternative.
All right, Thomas. Any final points on Golf you want to say?
This car sure does run smooth. I wish the rain would go away and we could see some sunshine here in Texas,
Yeah,
but
I know.
I guess at least we're not freezing. For those of us from Eastern Canada, it's a nice break.
Yeah, well, it was interesting to do it here while we're driving, so hopefully you enjoyed the video blog, and I think this is fun. I think we'll do this more often with different kinds of manufacturers, and we'll have Thomas back on as well. Thanks, Thomas.
Bye, everybody.